Hi, Peter Charles here. And if you've been looking at Voigtländer lenses, the 23mm f1.2 lens in particular, you will have heard stories about field curvature. In other words, the focus is not even across the plane of the sensor. So is that significant to you? Should you worry about it? Should it stop you from buying one? Let's check it out. Okay, I've done a lot of shooting with my 23mm f1.2 Voigtländer. And yes, it does have field curvature. So I think the question for us is that field curvature really meaningful for the average enthusiast? Is it something we should worry about? Or can we basically ignore it and, pretend it doesn't exist? So I've got some examples. We're going to put them up on the computer. We're going to go through them and see if they're meaningful to you. So let's get going. Okay, let's look at this example that I just shot just the other day with the 23mm f1.2 Voigtländer. The model looks reasonably sharp in this image, but when we start to drill down, we find it's not really all that sharp. When we enlarge this image, we can see that her eyes and her hair is quite soft. But when we start looking at the chin and the hair lower down, we can see that it's starting to sharpen up. So there is a definite fall off between the center of the image and the edges of the image. When we enlarge this image and take a really good close look at it, we see that, the toes of her shoes, the bottom of the stool, the top of her head, from her eyes up, none of that is particularly sharp. But the center section of the image is quite sharp. So this is showing where that kind of donut effect of the field curvature starts to have an impact. So let's look at some text. I have got the lens set to minimum focus at f1.2, and I'm just moving in and out to show how focus peaking moves through the text. It illustrates the field curvature as I move in, and then I slowly move back out again. And you can see how the focus peaking is showing what's in focus and what is not in focus. So the bottom line here with all of this is that if you were a professional photographer, I wouldn't own this lens. This 23mm is just simply not sharp enough, consistently enough across the frame for it to be useful for professional use. However, when you look at us enthusiasts, and I've got this image up here on the screen, which is a landscape taken with this lens, and I look at that image with my reading glasses on, and I stare at it as hard as I can, and I can barely just see where that field curvature is. And I mean, I really have to strain my eyes to see it, and my eyes are not that bad. I've only just started wearing these. So the bottom line is, if you can put an image up on a 27-inch monitor and barely see the effects, is that important to us enthusiasts? Well, if I was making wall-sized murals, it probably would be, but I'm not. My stuff goes up on social media. I print the odd picture, smaller than that. And otherwise, I'm looking at it on my computer. So I'm a happy camper with this lens, despite the fact it's far from being perfect. It does have field curvature. It is in there. You can see it. But is it material for us? No. I suppose it's only material to somebody who is either very picky about sharpness or they're professional. And if you don't fit those two characteristics, don't worry about it. If you want one, go buy one. Cheers.